بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين اللهم انفعنا بما علمتنا وعلمنا ما ينفعنا اللهم زدنا علما إنك أنت عليم الحكيم اللهم اجعل هذه المحاضرة حجة لنا لا حجة علينا يا رب العالمين أما بعد. This is our 9th class in the book Zaad Al-Mustaq'ni from Sheikh Al-Imam Al-Hajjawi rahimahullah ta'ala. Imam Al-Hajjawi, this book Zaad Al-Mustaq'ni is a book that many of the scholars that follow the understanding or the jurisprudence of Imam Ahmed, this is the book that they generally use. So today, inshallah ta'ala, we're going to talk about some dental care and some other things that are relevant with regards to cleanliness for a Muslim. The chapter is called Babu Siwak. How many people know what siwak is? A siwak. What is that?
So is it a root or is it part of a tree from part of Africa?
A part of a tree in Africa. But
Branch of a tree?
a branch. What is it used for? To clean your mouth. Huh? You know what a siwak is? Okay. So a siwak, a tasawwuk. We're going to talk about that. Bi'udin layinin. So this here is a piece of, it's a stick, like a branch, tree branch or whatever. Layin is soft. You can move it. Right? Right? Munqinin. The purpose of it is that it purifies. It cleans. It cleanses. Right? To cleanse the mouth. The Prophet ﷺ, he used to use the miswak. This thing here is called the miswak. And Nabi ﷺ, he used to use it. With this particular miswak, it has with it some characteristics or some character traits that we have to understand. One thing is that the purpose of this miswak is to purify and to clean. غَيْرُ مُضِرٍ. And that it doesn't harm the litha. The litha is the gums. So it's not recommended to use miswak like this if it causes the gums to bruise. Is that clear?
Yeah,
It's supposed to be soft, not hard.
well, that's how you work it, right?
Well, so if you see this, this is soft. It's bendable, flexible.
It's not bendable, they dry it out.
So then it's not recommended to use those.
No.
It's recommended to use the ones that are soft, laying, that are soft. Right? And likewise, it doesn't cause harm to the teeth and to the gums. That's the most important thing when using a miswak, is that it doesn't cause harm to the teeth and to the gums. So when we look at this, they also say la bi isba'ihi. So the ulama, or Imam Al-Hajjawi, he mentions in his book, you are not to use your finger or al-khirqa. Al-khirqa is a cloth. So some people, when they want to clean their mouths, they might want to use their finger. If they don't have a toothbrush, a brush or something like that, they may use their finger or a cloth or a rag to clean their teeth. So they say that this here is not considered from the Sunnah. Not that it's not permissible. Not that it's not permissible. There's a distinct difference between permissibility of something and something being Sunnah to use or not. So if anything, it would be considered mubah, right? Al-qura, if we take that position. So if we look at this, he says, la bi isba'ihi wa khirqatan. You can't use your finger and you can't use a cloth to actually arrive at the sunnah for making siwak or doing a siwak. So a person might ask, what about toothbrushes? Everyone uses a toothbrush. Is a toothbrush considered from the sunnah? You say no. You said no. No. Right. It might be some kalam. It might be something that is debatable. Why is that? If we look through some of the classical works, we find that some of the scholars of al-Islam, and we're going to go back to this issue here of al-usbu', yani a finger and a piece of cloth. So they say, لا بإصبعه ولا خرقة ليس من السنة. They say that it's not from the sunnah to use a cloth or your finger to clean your teeth. ولكن فيه خلاف. There's a difference of opinion about this issue right here. And the reason why we're going into this, just so you can see how some of the ulama look at this particular issue. فهل يصيب السنة على وجهين. So they ask, does a person, if they use their finger or a piece of cloth, do they arrive at the sunnah in doing this? Yes or no? So, no, the sunnah of a siwak. Okay, does this take the place of siwak, a finger and a cloth? Okay? So it says, some of the ulama, they say, la yusibu sunnata, and a person doesn't arrive at the sunnah by using a cloth or a rag. لِأَنَّهُ لَا يَحْصَلُ الْإِنْقَاء. They say this is because a cloth and their finger a person will not arrive at purification, cleanliness. Pay attention to that. They're saying that is not considered sunnah. Why? Because a person will not have cleanliness in their mouths if they use their finger or a cloth. The other one, likewise, that which you'll find if you use oud or a stick, like the sunnah right here. It is said that this actually cleans the mouth thoroughly. Then we have the next position. It says, يُصِيبُ مِنَ السُنَّةِ بِقَدْرِ مَا يَحْصُلُ مِنَ الْإِنْقَاءِ لَا يُتْرَكُ الْقَلِيلُ مِنَ السُنَّةِ. In this case, it mentions that, yes, a person will arrive at the sunnah in doing it as long as it becomes a purifier, as long as it cleanses the mouth. Does that make sense? We're talking about using something other than the miswak. And the examples that they use here is a finger and a washcloth or a cloth, right? If you don't have a toothbrush, if you use a finger or a cloth to clean your teeth, if a person does that, is it still considered sunnah like using a miswak? Right? So one position of the ulama, they say no, for two reasons. One of them is that because the Prophet ﷺ used the miswak. Another position is that a person will not have the same type of cleanliness. It will not clean the mouth the way that a miswak will clean the mouth. That's one position. Another position is, yes, it is considered from the sunnah. Why? Because the cleanliness is present if you use a cloth or a finger. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Yeah, two different opinions. That's all. So having said that, if a person, on that understanding, if a person has a toothbrush also arrives at the same thing if you consider it to remove, if you consider the toothbrush to clean the mouth. We're not saying that you don't use a toothbrush and you use this only. That. What we're saying is, does a person arrive at following the sunnah of using a miswak? That's the issue. Not whether or not a person should use a toothbrush to clean their mouths. Is that understandable? Repeat which one? Right. So right now, we're talking about the sunnah of using a miswak. Right? So many of the ulama, especially in the understanding of Imam Ahmed, they say that the sunnah is not to use a finger or a cloth. A finger or a cloth. You cannot use a finger or a cloth, as those two things are not considered to be from the sunnah. Okay? However, if a person only uses a miswak, you will get the reward for following the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. But if you use a finger or a cloth, do you still get that same reward for following the sunnah? So in the understanding of Imam Ahmed and his fiqh, there are two different positions. One group of scholars say no, it is not from the sunnah, because the reason they give is because it does not cleanse the mouth properly. Another group says yes, because it actually cleanses the mouth properly if you use a rag or a cloth or a finger. So then if you add to that a toothbrush, if you take that position, then if a person uses a toothbrush, some of them may say that using a toothbrush arrives at the same sunnah, Allahu A'lam. Does that make sense?
It makes plenty sense.
Okay.
If these guys were, these scholars was thinking, so they had to think of the situation or whatever like that. So I would, if I was with them and we was having a discussion, if Muhammad ﷺ was in our presence, and we didn't have any miswak sick, the intention of using the toothbrush is to clean your mouth.
Right.
You dig what I'm saying? Like, I mean, the intention of the tooth. If I was with Muhammad ﷺ and Muhammad ﷺ was there, there's no miswak stick around. This is Muhammad ﷺ. He was a very intelligent man. If he had a toothbrush, I would imagine. I'm not saying that I don't know. I would never talk to Muhammad ﷺ, but I would imagine he would say, "Yeah, I would use the toothbrush." You know what I'm saying?
So the issue is, here's the thing. One of the benefits of studying fiqh is that we have issues in the past that we don't have today. So how does a person understand issues in the past as it relates to today? The only way you can understand that is you have to understand the issues in the past and the reason behind certain legislations. If you understand the reasons behind the legislations, then you can look to today and say, perhaps this could be applicable here or there. But if you don't understand the reason for the legislations in the past, there's no way you can understand any of the legislation today. Does that make sense? Right. Now, I'm sure.
That on the end, the question that you asked is just the cleaning of the mouth. Right?
Yes, according to position. All right. So some of them say it's only cleansing of the mouth, and some of them say it's just to use the wood, because the Prophet ﷺ did it. So they mentioned two reasons. Allah knows best. Now, I'm sure.
This is the position of Imam Ahmed, correct?
Of his madhab, yes.
Now, my question to you is, when you said this, are those two positions coming out of his madhab?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And there's another thing. When you study the fiqh of a particular scholar in the past, on one issue, there may be 3-4 positions on it. And every position has evidence. This is in one particular school of law, Islamic legal jurisprudence. So imagine if a person were to combine all of the different schools together, how many positions they will have and how many different pieces of adillah they will have. Does that make sense? Right. So then, masnunun kullu waqtin. So then, for a person to use a miswak, it is recommended to use it in every waqt, every time period. There's no time in which a person should not use the miswak lighayri sa'iman, if a person is not fasting. If a person is fasting, then it is not recommended for that person to use a miswak after the zawal. What is the zawal? Does anyone know what that is?
When you start the fast.
La. No. When we go to the book of Salat, we're going to cover that in great detail. But the zawal is actually during the time when Dhuhr comes in, okay? During the time of Salat al-Dhuhr, right in the beginning. It is not recommended to use a miswak after that time if you are fasting. And some of them mention the hadith of the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, La khalufa thumma sa'ima atyabu inda Allahi min rih al-misk. That the mouth or the breath of a person that is fasting is sweeter to Allah or more beloved to Allah than the smell of misk.
So how about the other sunnahs? Is it the same principle or just salat al-dhuhr in regards if he was fasting?
If you're fasting, you should not use a miswak after Salat al-Dhuhr, once that time comes in.
Okay.
You should not use it.
Even for Asa and
You should not, if you're fasting.
if you're fasting.
That might have been the first time that any of us ever heard that before.
My bad.
All my life, I thought it was the sunnah to use the miswak stick during Ramadan.
Pay attention to what I'm saying very carefully.
Yeah, your evidence you were saying because of the
Pay attention very carefully.
the aroma, the smell to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Right?
Pay attention very carefully. It's sunnah to use the miswak in every time, all times, except for after dhuhr or after the zawal, when the time of dhuhr comes in, if a person is fasting. It doesn't mean it's haram. They said it is recommended that you do not do it.
Is there a reason behind it? Any type of, you know what I'm saying?
So some of the ulama mention here. There are many reasons that they mention. One of them, is that the breath of a person that's fasting is more beloved to Allah than the smell of misk. One of the benefits of using a miswak is to change a person's breath. Okay? Wallahu ta'ala alam. Now,
You shouldn't use it at the beginning of the Lord, so you shouldn't use it to the next day.
no, not to the next day. Obviously, up until you break your fast.
Okay.
Let's make sure that's clear. Up until you break your fast. Okay? طيب. Is that clear? You sure? All right. So the next thing here, there are 3 different areas in which a person is recommended to use the miswak or to clean their mouth. There are 3 particular time periods. In other words, initially we mentioned that it's sunnah to use the miswak or to clean your mouth in every time, right? Except for after when dhuhr comes in if a person's fasting. But there are 3 times in particular where it's highly, highly encouraged for a person to clean their mouth. Cleanse their mouths, if you will. Does anyone know what those times are?
Before salat, before you eat,
Tahajjud. Right. So it says, مُتَأَكِّدًا عِنْدَ الصَّلَاةِ. So if a person is going to pray, it's recommended that that person uses a miswak and clean their mouths right before they pray. Anytime they're praying. The next one, al-intibah. Al-intibah here is when a person wakes up from sleeping. If a person is sleeping and he wakes up, he brushes his teeth, or he cleanses his teeth. The third one, تغير الفم. In other words, if a person feels like he has bad breath, if that person's breath is not, maybe he or she ate something, it's good to clean your mouth after that. I don't know of any other religion that focuses on cleanliness like Islam. Alhamdulillah. That's something we should be thankful for. How many religions are going to, oh, brother, it's from our religion to clean our mouths after we finish eating. When you wake up in the morning, I don't know any other religion where there are documented text that says, yes, when you wake up, you should clean your mouth. That's just something people do anyway. Well, this is from our religion. Now you're supposed to do it. طيب. وَيَسْتَاقُ عَرَضًا. So here, in Al-Islam, the Prophet ﷺ, and many of the ulama, they explain how you're supposed to use the miswak. It comes with instructions. In fact, there are not many things in our religion except that doesn't come with instructions. It comes with instructions on how to use the miswak, what you're supposed to do. So it says, يَسْتَاقُ عَرَضًا مُبْتَدِئًا بِجَانِبَ فَمِّهِ الْأَيْمَنِ. So, a person, if you're going to use a miswak, you should take your left hand and start on your right side of the mouth. عَرَضًا يعني like this. Left and right to the left side. Your left hand on the right side of your mouth. All the way around. However, if you were to do more research on the issue, you'll find some of them say it's okay to go up and down as well. But many of them say you go right to left like this. Start on the right side. And this is because, why do you start on the right side? كان النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم كان يعجبه التيمن في تناوله وترجله وطهوره وفي شأنه كله. And this hadith was reported by Bukhari, Imam al-Bukhari and Imam Muslim, that the Prophet ﷺ would love to use his right in everything that he did. And from those things were putting on his shoes, combing his hair, cleansing himself. In every affair that he could, he would start on the right side. So cleaning the right side of the mouth is sunnah. So you go from the right to the left. Some of them, if a person wanted to get into the issue in more detail, you'll find some of them saying you can go up and down. However, the cons of going up and down is that perhaps you can harm your gums. This is what they say. This was over 1,000 years ago. They had this discussion about cleaning your mouth. 1,000 years ago. They said if you go up and down, you might harm your gums. So they say it's recommended to go right and left. But there are some reports that the Prophet ﷺ went up and down as well, as opposed to just left and right. Now,
So when you say left to right,
No. Right to left.
Excuse me. Is it going up and down?
No, like this.
Oh, side. Okay.
Side.
Okay, side.
So that's top and bottom?
Yeah, top and bottom.
I heard that the miswak prevents gum disease. Is that true?
Allahu alam. I'm not a dentist. But if it's brothers and sisters that are dentists, they can expound on that more than me. It's not my specialty.
So listen,
Now,
the three uses of miswak, we agreed on. Salah,
prayer, waking up, and to change the breath of a person.
That's waking up or changing the breath, okay.
No, they're two distinct different things.
So the tahajjud is out. We ain't talking about
If you're praying, so
Oh, praying, okay.
yeah, okay.
All right.
Like, just right to left. If you want to circle, I don't know of any prohibition. This is not. We're talking about issues of sunnah here. We're not talking about if you go up and down and cross left and right, you're deserving of Allah's punishment. Nobody's saying that. Yeah, I'm just giving you what the text actually talks about, left and right. Best. If you wanted to expound, this is very summarized. There are many different reports and narrations about different ways you can do it. Okay? So, are we clear on the miswak, inshallah?
I have one question.
Nah.
Say after you use the miswak, when should you cut the part off?
Allahu alam. I didn't cover that. But you could probably find it, though.
I mean, when you buy them, it says it on it. You know what I'm saying, on the package or whatever like that. They recommend it. It says it on it.
So, if you're in the land of the Muslims, they don't sell them in packages. They sell them out in the street.
Yeah, no doubt. It's the same situation, like every day. You cut it
No, I mean, they're...
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm saying that's the recommendation on the package with the tag.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying?
What he's saying is that if you're in a Muslim country and they don't have a package on you,
No.
Get it?
Ain't getting no fresher than that.
So at any event, are we clear on this point right here? All right, so now we're going to move to another issue. Grooming oneself. Okay? So it's also from the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ that if a person has hair, they ought to take care of their hair. Talks about this too. So it says, يَهْدَهِنُ غِبًّا يَهْدَهِنُ غِبًّا يعني a person should grease or put some type of oil or something in their hair to keep it together every other day. Every other day is a part of a person grooming himself or herself. To the point where Imam Ahmed, rahimahullah ta'ala, he said, I wish I could do that. He said if I was able to do that, he would. And following the sunnah of the Prophet, alayhi salatu wassalam. So then a person should what? They're saying a person should comb or groom their hair every other day. Every other day. It doesn't mean, I don't know it to be haram if a person does it every day, Allahu alam, but the sunnah is every other day. But the next issue, or the next thing here, is using kuhul. Using kuhul. What is kuhul? What is kuhul? Has anyone ever heard of that before?
I'm going to say, for lack of a better word, something that you put under your eyes at night. It's a black substance that you put.
So it's like a substance, like a black substance. I don't want to say eyeliner.
That's what it looked like.
But I mean, that's maybe the closest thing that a person can understand from it, is that it's made as something from ifmit. It's a type of comes from a plant, or I believe, and you put it on your eyes. Witran. They say you should do it in the evening. It's from the sunnah. Before a person goes to sleep, they should actually use this thing called kuhul and put it in their eyes. And they say you could do it. You should do it witran. Witran means an odd number. An odd number. So some of them say an odd number meaning 3 in this eye and 3 in this eye. And some of them say la, 3 in this eye and 2 in this eye. Why would they differ on that right there? Because it adds up to 5. You see how detailed the ulama are when they look at these issues. They say when you want to use kuhul in your eyes, a person should use an odd number. In other words, 3 in one eye, 3 in the other eye. Some of them say, this is not an odd number, this is even. If you combine them, it equals 6. So therefore, put 3 in one eye and 2 in the other eye. If you combine them, it is an odd number. These are the type of issues that they discuss. No, I don't. No, the eyeliner. No, I don't. No. Huh? What's the benefit of it? Allah. I came across this some time ago. Perhaps one of you guys could research it. It improves the sight. The brother said it. The sheikh said it improves the sight. Allahu Alam. But obviously it has some benefit to it. The Prophet ﷺ used to do it. And it's also sunnah for a person to look in the mirror. To look in the mirror at themselves to ensure that they're groomed properly. And there's a hadith wherein a dua that was made, Allahumma kama hassanta khalqi fa hassan khuluqi. Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam, he mentioned in a hadith, oh Allah, the way that you have perfected my creation in creating me, perfect my character. Perfect my character. This is a dua that was made, was recommended to make during this time. Allahumma kama hassanta khalqi fa ahsan or fa hassan khuluqi. The way that you have beautified my appearance, beautify my character. So then, as we move on, the next issue here is yajibu at-tasmiyatu fil wudu'i ma'a dhikr. If a person is making wudu, it is wajib for that person to say Bismillah. It is wajib for that person to say Bismillah. Does that make sense? If a person forgets, say for example, a person forgets to say Bismillah when they're making wudu. They forget to say Bismillah. If a person forgets to say Bismillah, the ulama, they say tasqutu ma sahwa. In other words, if a person forgets, then it is not upon him because he forgot to say Bismillah. But if he remembers, then you say it. Does that make sense? Right. La. Well, if it's off or it's on. If it's in the middle, we can wait. Is it the same thing when you eat? There's another dua that you make. That if your person's eating and they forget, then it's another dua. May Allah bless the food in the beginning and the end. Right. So the next thing, as we continue here, the next thing that's mentioned is wayajibu al-khitan. That it is wajib for a person to be circumcised. To be circumcised. I see the brother popped up in the back after that one. It's wajib to be circumcised in the bulugh, when a person reaches the age of maturity. This is a position. It says, man lam yakhaf ala nafsihi, as long as that person does not fear for himself. As long as that person does not fear for himself.
This is under the situation of grooming.
Yeah, all this is from cleanliness.
Cleanliness, okay.
Yeah, all of this from cleanliness, grooming oneself, all this. Circumcisions. All right. So with circumcisions, a man should have his foreskin removed. Right? And are there any circumcisions for women?
Yeah.
Yes or no?
Yes.
No. You say no. Has anyone ever heard of circumcision for women?
No,
in Africa. What about in Islam?
I don't know about this in Islam.
Yes. Right. So the scholars of the past, many of them say yes, there is circumcision for women, even though there's some difference of opinion about it. But they say that it is circumcision for women, but it's not to remove the whole. It's only a small portion is removed from that area. And we're not going to get into detail. This is a position. I'm not saying that it's something obligatory that, oh, you must do it. But it's a position that some of the ulama, they hold on this issue. But the next issue is وَيُقْرَأُ al-qaza'. Have any one of you ever heard of al-qaza'? Al-qaza'. Huh? It has to do with a person cutting his or her hair, or his hair. A man cutting his hair and leaving hair on the top and bald on the sides. Should be even. Either you're going to cut it all or leave it all. Okay? And this is something that it's an issue that, spoke about this many, many years ago, about how a person should cut their hair. You should not have bald. Now, we're not talking about where it's light on the side. No, we're talking about bald. So we're talking about bald. Okay?
Yeah, Mr. T.
Mr. T. Yeah. Bald. Right? And it also mentions وَيُعْفِي لِحْيَتَهُ وَيَحْرَمُ حَلْقُهَا, and that a person should also grow their beard, and they should not cut it. It's haram to cut it. وقال ذكره الشيخ تقي الدين. This is Shaykh al-Islam Ibn Taymiyyah mentions this. It says ولا يكره أخذ ما زاد على قبضة. However, if a person has enough beard where there is hair that comes on the other side, it is not hated to shave. Let me correct that. It is not hated to cut anything that comes out of the qabda or trim. Yes, it's not hated to trim that which comes after the qabda, or that after the fist, if you will. But from that, we're going to mention some other issues with regards to cleanliness as well. Al-fitra. روى أبو هريرة قال قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم الفطرة خمس. There are 5 things that are also considered important from the sunnah that a Muslim should take heed to. The first one is al-khitan. We mentioned al-khitan. Al-khitan is circumcision. Wal-istihdad. Al-istihdad is cutting the pubic hairs. Cutting the pubic hairs, shaving them. وَقَصُّ الشَّارِبِ. And for men, trimming your mustache. A Muslim man should not have a mustache that covers his lips. Should not have a mustache that covers his lips.
Is it the? Cause I don't like to shave my. I personally don't think I look funny in it. Like you know what I'm saying. Some people like in.
I didn't say shave.
I know that's
right.
The thing, but a lot of people. When you tell them I just trim it like that and they see your mustache growing and like no you got to trim it all. I'm like okay, like it's about
some of the really men trim it. Yeah. It's a position. But what I'm saying is a person should cut their mustache, trim it. Right? You should not let your mustache cover your lips. If you're talking to someone they can't, all of this is from cleanliness, right? The next one is وَتَقْلِيمَ الْأَظْفَارِ, trimming the nails. Trimming the nails. A person should not have long, and as it mentions, a person, man or woman, should not have long nails where you can have dirt trapped underneath your nails and perhaps you want to make wudu and you can't. Islam is a very clean religion. Very clean. To the point where you might meet someone and you look at them first and you're looking at their hands. Like, man, this person has dirt under their nails. I can't really take them seriously. Some people do that, right? So you have to. So another thing is natful ibti, and shaving the underarm hair. All this is part of cleanliness of a Muslim.
You said shave or cut?
Cut. What natful take from? Pluck. The word is pluck. Pluck your underarm hairs. Remove them.
But I always had it in my brain. Is it necessary to shave like completely bald, or is it you understand something?
Pluck. I'm just going to say where it says pluck. Cut them. You need to cut your underarms. And it's a sunnah, right? So it says, وَرَوَى أَنَس ibn Malik. Anas ibn Malik, and this hadith was in Bukhari and Muslim. عن أنس ibn Malik رضي الله تعالى عنه قال وُكِّتَ لَنَا في قَصَّ الشَّارِبِ. And he mentions that with regards to doing all of these things, there is a prescribed time in which you're supposed to do these things, right? So it says, وُكِّتَ لَنَا فِي قَصَّ الشَّارِبِ. He said, we were giving a specific time with trimming our mustache, وَتَقْلِيمَ الْأَثْفَارِ, and cutting our nails, وَنَطْفُ الْإِبْطِ, and trimming or shaving our underarms, وَحَلْقَ الْعَانَةِ, and cutting our pubic hair, لَا تُتْرَكُ أَكْثَرُ مِنْ 40 يَوْمًا رواه مسلم. That a person should not leave those things unattended to longer than 40 days. Yes, a person should not leave those things unattended longer than 40 days. Is that clear? Right. And this hadith was reported in Muslim. Salam rahmatullah. Right. So the next issue, as it relates to women. روي عن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم, the Messenger of Allah صلى الله عليه وسلم, he said, أنه لعن الواصلة والمستوصلة. Nabi alayhi salatu wassalam, he cursed the woman or the one who gets extensions in their hair with fake hair. Not only was the curse upon the women that get it done, but as for the one who actually does it as well. The one who actually does it and the one that gets it done, the curse is of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is upon those people. Yes. This is a curse.
Now, this particular subject, my wife was actually talking about this with the sisters. Now, a lot of the women in Philadelphia have an impression that it's only with.
Let me finish. Bro. I didn't even, Let me finish. And the next one is al-namisa. Al-namisa wa mutanammisa. These are the people who also, the curse is also upon the one who plucks their eyebrows or remove facial hairs in places they shouldn't remove them from the women. And as many of the scholars of Lugha, they say that this namsu akhda sha'r al-hajibain. Al-hajib is the hair that grows hair. It's called the eyebrows. These are called hajib in Arabic. And if a woman takes from that hair, this is also cursed. As for, and likewise, the one who does it. The one who does it and the one who has it done. As they say, the fi'l or the maf'ul and the fa'il. The one that receives it and the one that does it. And likewise, there's also a curse on the al-washira. Al-washira wal-mustawshira. This is something that's not present today. But during the time of the Prophet, ﷺ, there were women that would create gaps between their teeth. They would put gaps between their teeth as a sign of beauty. Nowadays, people don't want gaps. They get things to close gaps between their teeth. But that was a sign of that some of the women used to do during that time. And another issue here is, another curse is also upon al-washima wal-mustawshima. Al-washima is the one who gives tattoos, and a mustawshima is the one who receives tattoos. The curse of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is on the one who gives tattoos and the one who gets tattoos. Now, O Muslims, if you find yourself to be from those who have tattoos, make tawbah. I said, make tawbah. Don't get any more tattoos and ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive you. It's easy. Don't look at yourself, oh man, I'm done. I have tattoos. I had these before Islam. Labas. Or maybe you're a Muslim and you got them while you were a Muslim and you didn't know. You didn't understand that it was impermissible. Labas, inshallah. Make tawbah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, inshallah, yatubu alayk. Inshallah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will forgive you or pardon you of your sins. But the next issue, the brother mentioned about a woman getting extensions in her hair that's not hair. So many of the scholars of Al-Islam, some of them from the past, these issues, mind you, was talked about over 1,000 years ago. So they say that some of them mention that if a woman puts something in her hair that is not human hair and that is clearly distinguishable that is not human hair.
But you said, I said that because you didn't say human hair. You said when the curse is upon the person that gets artificial hair.
No, he said curses on they get extensions.
Okay.
If I did, let me.
I thought that's
All right,
why
so
I said that.
let bets. I'm human, man. Maybe I did say the wrong thing. It's okay. I'll fix it. The thing is, if a woman gets fake hair, and what I mean by fake hair, another person's hair and it's not your hair, right? They sell them all over the place, right? They get this hair and this other women's hair and they put it in their hair. This is muharram. This is haram. However, some of the scholars of Islam mention that if it's not hair, if it's like string or yarn or something like that, la bats, right? Many of them say this is not an issue. Is that clear? Right. Any questions about that? Nah, Michelle.
Speaking in reference to the eyebrows, plucking of the eyebrows. Now, is it speaking in reference to making an arch into the eye?
Cutting of the eyebrows.
Take
Period.
just one.
Taking any hair from your eyebrow and removing it. Whether you are now, so what do some of the women do in the land of the Muslims? Instead of cutting their eyebrows, they might dye a portion of it to make it look like it's cut. That's what some women do. They might dye. Oh, yeah, that's what. Yeah, is that permissible in Allah? Now, yeah, like some yarn. Some women put yarn in their hair, other things like that.
But they got some of that is synthetic, it's not here.
Okay, so look at this. Here's the thing. It can't look like real hair. The purpose of which is tadlis. So the reason some of the ulama, they mention that it looks like there's something called tadlis. Tadlis is deception. Perhaps when a woman puts extensions in her hair, you think that this is her hair. But maybe it's not. So, and they mention tadlis in particular. It's tadlis, a form of deception.
Very different from wig. When you put the wig,
Wigs like that.
no, they put like this. It looks like it's
Plain and clear. Nothing that looks like hair. The deception. Okay.
Right. It can't be deception.
Well, that right there covers it.
Yeah. And this is, and you can find this. This is in a book called Al-Mustaq'ni. It talks about this. It clearly mentions a tadlis. A woman cannot deceive. But they say that a woman can put other types of extensions in her hair, للتحسين, للحاجة, for beautification or whatever, for a husband or whatever. La bats. As long as it's not from the bab of tadlis, as long as it's not deceiving someone else, and Allah Ta'ala A'lam. Allah knows best. Right. So, the next issues. Everyone's clear on that so far, right? Right. The next issue, وَمِن سُنَنِ الْوُضُوء. Some of the sunan of wudu. Some of the sunan of al-wudu. So the first thing it mentions here from the sunan al-wudu is as-siwak. Using as-siwak is from the sunnah of wudu. As we mentioned earlier, a person should use the miswak while they are, or right before they are what? What are some of the, before they pray, right? So it's a sunnah to use the miswak right before a person prays. The next, another sunnah of wudu, ghaslul kaffain, thalathan. Washing your hand 3 times is also a sunnah when the person is getting ready to make wudu. Is that a sunnah or is it wajib? So, if I just wanted to make wudu and I didn't wash my hands, I just started with tamadda wa stanj. Is that okay? That's okay? No?
Yeah, we covered it in class.
I'm asking other people. Is that okay? Can I just start the wudu by doing without even washing my hands? Right. So then, washing your hands 3 times before the wudu is sunnah and it's not wajib. Sunnah, not wajib. When we say sunnah, what does that mean? What does it mean if I say it's sunnah and wajib? What's the difference between the two?
One is
I'm looking for another definition. They're both recommended. Something that's sunnah and something that's wajib, they're both recommended. So what does that mean? If you tell me something is obligatory and something's not obligatory, what am I supposed to understand from that?
That's a sin for not doing it.
It's a sin. So then, something that is sunnah, if a person does it, they will be rewarded. And if they leave it off, there's no harm to them, no punishment. Whereas something that is wajib, you will be rewarded if you do it. But if you leave it off, you are deserving of Allah's punishment. You have made it halal for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to punish you. Is that clear? Right. So then, when we say here, غسل الكفين ثلاثا, washing your hands 3 times is a sunnah. 3 times before you make wudu. Question. If a person is sleeping at night and they wake up in the morning, is it sunnah for him to wash his hands 3 times or is it wajib? Wajib. Limada. Why?
Because you don't know where your hands been at.
Ahsant. We covered this before. When a person wakes up from sleep, naqad lil wudu. If a person is sleeping and their sleep broke their wudu, then this person must wash his hands 3 times before he enters his hands into any water or anything like that. We covered this a month ago. So everything is coming around again. I'm sorry?
Is it different between the deep sleep and you saying
So then there's a sleep that doesn't break your wudu, and then there's a type of sleep that does break your wudu. What's the difference? A sleep that doesn't break your wudu, you're asleep, but you're still conscious of what's going on around you. Right? Meaning, if you're sleeping, just to make it so everyone understands, if you're sleeping in the masjid and someone walks up and put their hand in your pockets, if I can put my hand in your pockets and take your money, that means you need to make wudu. But if I put my hand in your pockets and you grab my arm, like, is that? I think everyone understands that example. There's a perfect example, right? All right. Right. So then, وَيَجِبُ مِن نَوْمَ اللَّيْلِ نَاقِضِ الْوُضُوءِ. And it is wajib for a person to wash their hands if they're sleeping, and a type of sleep nullifies or breaks their wudu. Also, it's sunnah for a person when they are making wudu, bada'atu bimadmadati thumma istinshaq. To start with tamadmad wal istinshaq. What is tamadmada? Have any of you guys ever heard this word tamadmada? What does that mean? To rinse? Rinse what? Oh, okay, good. So tamadmada means to put water in your mouth. Swirl it around you. This is from al-tamadmada. Okay? Tamadmada. What is istinshaq? Is to put it in your nose. In your mouth and in your nose.
at the same time, or are you talking about?
We're not, it's khilaf in that, but we're just say we do it at the same time. In your mouth and in your nose at the same time. Right? So they say, وَالْمُبَالَغَ فِيهِمَا لِغَيْرِ صَائِمٍ. If a person is not fasting, then he should do mubalagha. Mubalagha yani, it means to do it, do it really strong. Like, so when you put it in your nose, goes all the way up. Well, istinthar is to blow it out. Istinthar is to blow it out with your left hand. So your right hand, you put it in, you blow it out with your left hand. All right? This is a sunnah to start with tamadmada wal istinshaq before you actually wash your face. وَتَخْلِيلُ اللِّحْيَةِ الْكَثِيفَةِ. Also, if a person has a beard, there are different types of beards, right? So we have a beard that's called kathifa. Kathifa. A beard that is kathifa is a type of beard that is thick. Thick how? Thick wherein you cannot see the skin on the other side of the beard. So, for example, on the side of my face, you can see the skin. So this is not considered kathifa or kathifa. Rather, it's considered khafifa. Khafifa means light. But on my chin, maybe you cannot see my chin, so this might be considered kathifa. Yani thick, if you will. If it's thick, then the sunnah for this person is to take water and put it in his beard or like this. And rub their fingers through it and get inside of the beard. If it's khafifa, yani light, then it doesn't matter. Just washing your face regular. Is that clear?
Oh, so you're at the part of the face now.
Yeah, we're talking about the sunnah of wudu. Okay? So, if a person has a beard, there are two types of beards. We have beards that are kathifa, which are thick. So, the sheikh, his beard, right? You can't see his skin on the other side of his beard, right? So in his case, he has to make sure water gets all the way into his beard and rub his fingers through it, so on and so forth. All right? Whereas for your beard, you can just, mashallah. Huh? Like, is that clear?
No, but I was you saying like at the same time or separate. You said something.
No, we're just going to stick with the same time right now. When we get to that, yeah, because when we get to how to make wudu, we're going to expound on. So I don't want to go too far. We're just going to stick to the text right here, inshallah. Right. So the next one is using your fingers, wiping in between your fingers, right? So then, if a person taqleel al-lihya, or a person is washing their hands, they rub their fingers in between their hands, so on and so forth. That's clear, right? So when a person is washing their feet, when they make wudu, it's also from the sunnah to put your this is called a khinsar, your pinky into the toes. Your toes are also called fingers in Arabic. They're also called fingers. So the sunnah is for a person to start with their left hand into their right foot. So you're washing your right foot. And as you're washing your right foot, you're going to take your pinky finger and start with your pinky on your foot all the way up to your ibham, which is your big toe, in between them. Sunnah, right? Then when you're going to switch, pull up your left leg with your right hand, and instead of starting from your pinky toe, you're going to start from your big toe and work your way down with your pinky finger. This is the way the ulama explain it. And this is why do you start with your big toe on your left foot all the way down to your... Because it's the right. That's exactly what they say, because it's the right. Allah Ta'ala alam. But this is something that they take the time to mention the details about these things. I don't know of any other religion that talks about issues like this in this detail. But I'm sorry? No, the cutting of the nails is a little more detailed. In fact, when I was actually reviewing, I saw it and I said, that's just too much. I mean, you start with the pinky finger, then the middle finger, then you go back to the ring finger, then you go back to the point finger, then the thumb. It's very detailed. We can talk about that next week, inshallah. I didn't think no one was going to ask that question. That's my fault. I started to write it down, but I didn't. Malish. Yes, and I'm glad he mentioned that. So when a person cuts their hair or fingernails, then you should bury it. It's also from the sunnah to bury your nails or bury your hair once you cut it. Now, طيب وأخذ ماء جديد للأذنين. So there's some difference of opinion here on this issue with the madhab of Imam Ahmed. They say that a person should grab some new water when they're wiping their ears. However, this is, some of them say this is not recommended to do. That is not recommended to you. And the difference is, I don't really want to get into the khilaf because it's long. But the fact of the matter is, even though it mentions it here in Zaad to grab a new water to wipe your ears, but many of them say this is not necessarily not recommended, and we'll get to that when we get into wudu in great detail, inshallah. The next one is وَغَسْلَةُ الثَّانِيَةُ وَالثَّالِثَةُ. If a person is washing or making wudu the second and the third time. Yani, what's understood by that? If I'm washing my face, right? It's sunnah to do it a second and a third time. But what's obligatory is to do it at least once. Is that clear? Tight. So with that, inshallah, any questions about that?
Yeah, but you said, as far as the sunnah, I thought the head and the ears, that was always one time.
Yes.
As far as the rest of it, it's sunnah for the face and the arms and the hands and the...
Sunnah for what? What are you talking
I'm
about?
talking about as far as doing it one time. I mean, it's wajib,
Yes.
wajib one time and sunnah second and the third.
Right.
Except for the head and the
It's
ears,
only one time. Right. But the issue here is what they're saying before that was, do you add another? So once you wipe your head, do you get another? Do you put your hand in some more water and then do your ears?
I don't.
Right. I'm saying that's the issue here. Okay. That's the issue here. But yeah, with regards to wiping the head and the ears, it's only one time. And inshallah, we'll cover that next week, inshallah, when we talk about wudu. Any questions about this? Huh?
What book is it?
Zaad Al-Mustaq'ni. Imam al-Hajjawi.
Where is he from?
Where is he from? Actually, we gave a long introduction on all of that, but we'll talk after class in more detail about the book and all of that stuff, inshallah. Khalas? Any more questions about the subject?
Yeah, before they head. So when you get to work, just do like this and come on.
We'll get to that next week. Huh? Nah.
One thing's probably about these eyebrows.
Sheikh, don't cut your eyebrows, man.
I don't. Okay.
I'm messing with you. No, he's going to get me at the class now.
No, that's him. No, but I'm saying you don't cut them. Period.
Sheikh, do not cut your eyebrows.
That's more so for the woman.
I mean, some men could cut their eyebrows too.
Oh, yes, they do.
I mean, nowadays.
My eyebrows are getting long.
Huh?
I also heard that if it's
Go
like,
long.
you can I just heard from a class before that you can, like, if it's not where as though it looks like it's
Unibrow.
yeah, like if it's too much hair,
Joining.
like he's joining.
Ya ikhwan, Allah Ta'ala a'lam. I'm telling you, the prohibition is cutting your eyebrows. If you want to look for a loophole, that's on you. All I'm saying is, listen, I'm a conveyor of information. That's it.
I was in another class before and we was talking about that.
Now, if it's a different thing, if it's causing a person harm, that's something else. That's a whole
Is it the difference between trim and
shaving.
shaving?
Yes, very much. Shaving means it's bald. Trimming means it's still hair there.
So in regards to eyebrows, we saying even trimming them.
Yeah, sheikh.
Okay.
If you trim, listen to me. If you trim your eyebrows, you're still cutting them.
No.
Do not take from your eyebrows. Sheikh, do not take from your eyebrows. Huh? All right. Any other questions? Any other questions about that? We good? All right, inshallah, the next week we'll go over the obligatory things of wudu and how to perform the wudu. I'm going to need a volunteer next week. Don't all raise your hands at once. Just one,
From here. What is these classes now?
next week, inshallah.
I'm saying, is your classes every day or?
No, every Monday.
Every Monday?
I think we should switch it after Isha. Huh?
No, Monday to be sure is good.
Okay,
I
thought
go
you.
for work, I come around, make it.
Huh?
We don't pray until 20 after.
Okay.
Yeah, so we keep going.
So you want to be a volunteer next week? You sure? I need somebody bringing a bucket.
Class is only on Monday, period. Only on Mondays.
This class is only on Mondays.
Okay, this class is on Monday.
So right now we have two. Saturdays after Fajr. Shajaratul Iman, the Tree of Faith from Sheikh Abdul Rahman al-Sa'di. Hajjawi. We'll talk about them after class in detail.
Monday and
Inshallah.
Saturday. So Monday and Saturday. Saturday is after Fajr and Monday.
After Maghrib. Inshallah.
I can make the classes on Monday. Inshallah.
All right. Any other questions about it, or are we good? You sure? Right. I got a question for you. Is it permissible to shave your eyebrows?
Shave or trim.
Shave or trim?
I'm done.
It's not permissible.
Listen, I hear no big, gang.
All right.
Problem with it. I mean, I have a problem, but I don't have none no more.
Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. طيب. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.